Now we want to look at how to cut up a plate and maximise it and really get as much out of it as we can. So let's say you cut it in half again, cut it in half again, irrespective of the size, until we get down to a manageable piece of tess that's a bit like this. And then all we need to do is then shape it for the place it needs to go. So let's do the cut it in half with our trusty. There's a mozzie in that bucket. And remembering that we point the wheels in the direction that we want the cut to go, and then we keep our fingers crossed. In half, to one side. Now is a time where we can start to save some of this stuff for other things. For example, we might want to make the beard out of this part of the plate. It's just fairly boring old white, but for a beard on a garden gnome is absolutely fine. Or birds on a feathers on a bird, or fur on a rabbit. So we just do the feather cutting as we've done 50,000 times already. So you can go around the edges, cut off the waves, the crests, go down the other side. So I've had a good chop, and now I'm going to pop all of these wonderful slivers that will do all sorts of things for us into a container. And look at this magnificent shape that's been cut off. It's a bit inspiring. Maybe I'll try to make bigger pieces and do some amazing bird feathers. So let's tidy that up as we go. So now we can continue on. We've saved our little bits that might do for our beard, for our gnome. So that pretty much takes care of the centre of the plate. And now we can cut again. And we can then attempt to get this bit off here. So I'm heading towards this end of the cheek. So you might want to use that, say, for a whisker or something like that, depending on what you're wanting to create in his beard. But some bony bits like that might just be the ticket. Whoops, not when I chop it off like that. Then we can cut it in half and in half again until we end up with this size. So now we're sort of really breaking it down to something useful. The next thing we've got to do for what we're making, because we want the flat bit, is actually cut the cheek right off the plate. So that's this thick bit between the base and the side of the plate. So in here you want to come, see about there, and that will cut that bit off. And lo and behold, that will be the perfect size for us to then cut or shape into our curlicue. So we'll cut up the whole plate like that if you want. If you don't think you're going to use it all, just cut up the bits you want, because you don't know what you're going to be making. So I'll continue on and make a pile of that, which will go into this. Now I'm about to cut this blue plate up, which is better quality than the aqua one. Looks exactly the same, but it's much finer. So the montoliths, these have been adjusted to 3mm. Can't cut it. I could shave more off, but that's enough. I'm going to use my lepinets to cut this plate up. Whoops. It's porcelain and much harder. Okay. Now the good thing about this one being a better quality one, I could actually get the edge of the plate off. So I'm going to trim this up and trim this up, and I'm going to use that for his moustache. So if you can't save the plate, you can't, but if you can, you get all these extra little bits that you can think of really creative ways to use. And if you want to see these done really well, Sonja Rubinsky does amazing things with crockery. So do attempt to keep your bench nice and clean and tidy, because as I said, the stuff to do with crockery just takes all of 5 minutes to become completely out of control. So a nice little broom is handy for sweeping up. Stuff all the scraps that'll end up in the bin. I've got a container for all my feathers, the bits from the centre of plates, the lumpy bumpy bits on the bottom of the plates. These come in handy when you're making roosters and rooster feet and legs and beaks and all sorts of things. I saw someone, and I can't remember who, had made a dragon's body out of just all of these. Just amazing. And of course our containers with our tests ready to be cut into the pattern. I've got some shoes here. They're just a basic shape. You'll be able to do that without a problem. Managed to salvage this off the bottom of the plate. So I've got some whiskers, which is great. And these tests ready to rock and roll.